Hello there. I want to talk about screwdrivers. Now, I know woodworking. What's a screwdriver got to do with woodworking? Well, you can use screwdrivers in woodworking, but you don't use them as often as you do in other types of work. However, this is hand tool wood guy, but the emphasis is on hand tools. And a screwdriver is one of the most common hand tools that you will own. Now, for me, for years and years, I've used these. I think it's acetate handled. These are the made in USA. I think they're made in China now, but I've used these screwdrivers for a really long time, and they've always served me well. But I've been looking on YouTube and looking at, I watch a lot of automotive and mechanic based videos, not just tool reviews and stuff like that, but there's one, South Main Auto. It's one of them that I watch a lot, where the guys are actually working on vehicles. Or Flat Rate Master, he's basically got a channel that's geared toward beginning technicians and stuff like that. And although I'm never going to be a beginning technician, I'm never going to look for a career in automotive work or anything like that, I like watching stuff like that. And I've watched a lot of other stuff, and when it comes to screwdrivers, you generally have two differing opinions. One is by a high quality, high dollar screwdrivers, and the other says a screwdriver in automotive work, most of the time, you only need a couple different kinds, and they don't have to be very expensive. So, there's like a divide there. And what I'm talking about more is home use, and then, not being a mechanic 8 hours a day, but, choosing a screwdriver or a set of screwdrivers or whatnot to work on your own vehicle with. And, like I said, I've used the Craftsman acetate handle screwdrivers for quite a long time. One of the things that I would say is there's a difference between standard screwdrivers, or what people call flatheads, and Phillips screwdrivers, and I think you should separate this from this when you talk about buying. Okay, and I know everybody wants to buy a set. Well, in that case, what I would tell you is if you want to buy this and this in a set, buy the very best you can buy. Because honestly, a standard screwdriver, you don't need anything expensive. You don't need anything fancy. Pretty much any flathead or flat tip or whatever you want to call it, standard screwdrivers going to work just fine. Now, yes, some of them will fit better than others, but there's such a range of standard screws that you're probably never going to find a standard screwdriver that will fit all of them perfectly, unless you spend big bucks. And for do-it-yourself, home use, things like that, you really don't need that. I'm not working on someone's automobile or someone's property and worrying about tearing up a screw head too much. And the flatheads are not really going to do that very much. And there's not a lot of flathead screwdrivers. Most things are put together with Phillips screws, or they're put together with Torx bits, or they're put together with an Allen wrench, Allen heads, and that kind of deal. You're not going to buy something from Lowe's or from Kmart or Walmart or whatever, that has to be put together. They're not going to really come put together with a standard screwdriver or a standard screw head. It's going to be Phillips or Allen or Torx most of the time. So these are not that critical. They're not that big of a deal. You can buy a regular old cheap Stanley set or something from Harbor Freight even, and it'll fit just fine. No problem. Pretty much 90% of the time. The problem that arises is when you start thinking that a Phillips screwdriver is the same way, because they're not. There are different sizes of flathead screwdrivers, but basically that's got to do with thickness and width and stuff like that. But with a Phillips screwdriver, there's a number 0, a number 1, a number 2, a number 3, and there may be like a number 4, I don't know. But usually 1 through 3 is what you're looking at most of the time. And they are different sizes, but not only that, they have a different pitch. Okay? The shape is uniquely different between them. So, most of the time, people will pick a number 2 screwdriver. That's probably the most common. But you're going to find that there are number 1s and number 3s. And, depending on what you work on, there are going to be different sizes. And they are completely different from one another. You need a Phillips screwdriver. Excuse me. I didn't mean to. That fits the fastener that you're taking off. Now, I've got 3 of them. I want to move these off to the side and talk about the Phillips for a minute. I have 3 of them. Now, this standard old Craftsman, they actually fit really well. I have no problem with the fitment of the Stanley screwdrivers. But when you look at them, for some reason, when Craftsman, and I said Stanley, but I mean Craftsman. For some reason, when Craftsman makes the standard screwdriver, the Phillips screwdrivers handles are all almost exactly the same size, and they're small. I don't like that. This is a bigger handle. Now you'll see, okay, the different sizes of standard screwdrivers come with different size handles, and that's more in line with this Phillips. But all of my Phillips that I have this type handle. If I have a longer Phillips or a larger Phillips, I really want a bigger handle. So this is another popular mechanic screwdriver that I bought probably 20 years ago or more. Okay, I love the handle on this screwdriver, but the tip of this screwdriver is absolutely useless. The standards I have all lost. They were perfectly fine. But the Phillips head on that is crap. It doesn't fit anything. The best Phillips screwdriver that I ever owned is this. Now, I'm not certain what this is, but I believe this is a U.S. made screwdriver. My wife's first husband, who passed away, okay, my wife was widowed when I met her. Okay? This was his Phillips screwdriver. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that this is a Klein, an older Klein. Now, you can see the head on that is slightly worn, right? Well, it's slightly worn because this is the Phillips screwdriver I grab almost every single time. Why? Because I've never put this head on a Phillips screw head and had it not fit. This screwdriver has fit every single time that I've used it. And I'll tell you, between me and you and a fence post, I'll be buying another one of these. I'll be buying a Klein. It's about $10. Well, you say, well, $10 for a screwdriver, that's crazy. No. For a Phillips screwdriver, it's worth spending the money. Because believe me, when you grab a screwdriver like this, and go after a Phillips screw in a really important place, and the job's really important, you need whatever it is that you're working on, and this strips it out so bad that you can't get anything else, you got to end up maybe drilling the head off of it and using a screw extractor or whatever to try to get that screw out, you're going to find out that this is worth every dime of the $10 that it cost. And so my recommendation is buy what fits good in your hand first. First of all, this is the best fitting screwdriver I ever held in my hand. But your standard screwdrivers, you can get by with a set of Cobalt or a set of Craftsman or a set of Husky or even, you know, a hardware store standard screwdriver. For the Phillips, buy a good set or buy one really good Phillips screwdriver. You will be happy every time you use it. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.